Huh. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ham Radio. Golly, Sunday morning. I am not moving very well. Hey, good morning. Tim here, Gray Man POTA, amateur radio call sign, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. I'm out here at the Morgan-Monroe State Forest and getting ready to do our normal Sunday morning live stream. But man, I tell you what, this place is a little off kilter this morning. As most of you guys know, we had a pretty good sized tornado. I think it was rated, the last I heard, based on the assessments from the National Weather Service, a EF2 tornado, where in the area that I am at, and where it came through the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. And the damage, although devastating, fortunately was an unpopulated area where majority of the damage was forest, was trees. But it does not look good. So wanted to get into that real quick this morning and do that. So just seeing here, Cooley checking in this morning. Cooley, good morning. George checking in from sunny Virginia this morning. Good morning, George. Robert checking in this morning from New Jersey. Good morning, Robert. Other Robert also checking in from Alabama says, good morning, Tim. 49th anniversary on Thursday. Would a QRP radio make a great gift, a good gift? Absolutely. And I hope your wife enjoys that. Robert, I appreciate that. But don't forget, I mean, 49 years, that is awesome achievement. And I commend both of you. It's hard in today's instant gratification. I don't like it. I'm moving on. World that we've gotten into, to maintain a 49 and almost 50-year marriage is quite an achievement. And I hope that our children and our grandchildren see stuff like that and kind of come back around to it's important to have that family and to stay together and to maintain those things. So congratulations, you guys. Freddie Mac checking in this morning. Good morning, Freddie Mac. How are you? Got Jason Lockwood checking in this morning. Good morning, Jason. And John also checking in this morning. Dave checking in this morning from I started to say Tennessee, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri area. Seth checking in this morning. Good morning, Seth. So as I mentioned earlier, we had tornadoes come through, and I guess a couple things that have really kind of startled me. This is the second major tornado that's ripped through my area in a couple of years. I live about 3 miles south. It's like 6,000 meters south of where the tornado hit the entrance of the Morgan-Monroe State Forest and went right across it. And actually, let me bring this up here. I don't know if it's going to let me mark. Nope, that's solar stuff. Oh well. So the tornado came through right here, like I-69 is where it crossed over the interstate and kept going. So where it says Morgan-Monroe State Forest entrance, that's just up the road from where I am. And to give a point of reference, down a little bit further north here or south, this area right here on the edge of the lake. This is where I'm sitting right now. And so this tornado came through and went across the entrance. This entrance is covered in down trees and everything like that. And I've got some pictures. It was a 15-mile long tornado, and anywhere from 100 yards wide up to 800 yards in width, in the track. But that cut across basically between these 2 points here in the forest. And stopped when it got over here. So I've got some helicopter footage that I found on the internet. I'll insert some bits and pieces into it to kind of show you the thing. I don't want to put the totality in. I have not secured permission to do that. So, but I want to do that. But the tornado came through, and in and around this area right here, this is Mason Ridge camping area. There is Scout Ridge Nature Preserve here, and I do a lot of activations from Scout Ridge. So right up in my alley. It's kind of scary. So it looked like the tornado, as it was just coming through this area, kind of lifted up. If you look at the damage, overhead damage there, it isn't as extensive in here. And then it kind of went over the Scout Ridge area and then back in here, kind of looked like it came down again and then just disbanded. So that was good. Now, to my knowledge, this was not, there were no fatalities. There was a couple injuries that were reported with this, from my knowledge, to this tornado. And this is one of many that just came through that night. So it was Wednesday night, and there was a lot of warnings about the conditions for some supercells. I think that's what they used that could produce tornadoes. And so the kind of the warning was there to be on the lookout for it. And it happened. That same group of storms now, and just to back it up a little bit, we were actually, we did a live stream of the Ham Radio Kids Table, and that was up at over at 9 p.m. Eastern, because of the Ham Nation was on that night. And then we were on in the back chat, just talking. Salty Walt was with us, and as I'm talking with him, I've still got my cans on. I hear tornado sirens, or basically just a loud whiny noise. And I lift my can up, and I can hear it better now. And about that same time, my phone went off with an alert. So I abruptly shut down and got out, went into the house. You know, my wife was already in. We have two small areas downstairs. One's a bathroom, one's a closet that two of us can fit in each. And so she was already down there with the kids. So we hunkered down, and a combination of Ryan Hall y'all and Max Velocity, each one of us were streaming that. We were there, and so that the local Skywarn net. So I had my HT in there. The other thing that I would normally have during this evolution would be a scanner. Here in Indiana, we use a statewide trunking system, and P2, phase 2, P25. My scanner broke. So I've been going around and just looking at various things. The new Uniden SDS 150 is out. It's a little pricey, and so I'm sitting here. What in the frustrating part with all this is I'm sitting there in my head trying to rationalize spending $950 for a scanner, because honestly, a scanner is not something that I use a whole lot. But in times like that, when everything is south and going south, I like to have that ability to listen and at least know what's going on, hear things as they're happening in real time. I think that makes a huge difference to that. In case of points, when we were at the Moore Expo, they had tornadoes going through, and it was another one of those. They let us know when we came in to camp that the possibility was there, and if we needed to shelter somewhere, they had places on the fairgrounds and for us to go, and that they would let us know if we needed to giddy up and get in there. So the storms did come through while we were there. Most of the faux landers, the overlanders, they took their rigs and put them in the buildings and everything. The ham radio group, we sat there and we just stayed in our tents and awnings, Gazelle Village, and between radar apps and the local Skywarn that Dave's group is part of, Hillbilly Dave, there in Missouri, we had all the information. We knew what was going on, and we proved our value to the group as people would come over to get updated information from us to find out what's going on and everything. And so there's a lot to be said for having that. And I'm going to go back to the thing my scanner broke. I actually ordered one the other day on the Gigaparts Let's Make a Deal live stream, and that they did with Jason, I guess, last Sunday night. So it's on its way, and but it's not here. And I think they sold out, and Gigaparts reached out to me and said, hey, we're have another shipment coming in, and it'll go out first thing as soon as it gets in. So hopefully it gets here this week. Obviously the holiday too kind of slowed things up, and I don't know, obviously the shipping method, I don't know if it's a FedEx, UPS, or postal service. So hopefully that'll get here. And then the nice thing about this SDS 150 is it's GPS based, so it'll figure out everything that I need and get me connected, which is good. I know actually Josh last night was talking about it on the after chat. When he travels, he gets into areas now like Southern California. The chance of them having a tornado in Southern California is very minimal. But he goes in, he's traveling for work now, and he's in Alabama a lot, which, by the way, is another thing that I stumbled across last night. Pulling up a bunch of different videos and everything. The algorithm has kind of shifted now, and it's bringing me up some videos that I wouldn't normally see because I wasn't searching for certain type of stuff. But there was a video I saw last night. It was just recently produced, and I'll get a link to it and get it into the description. It's kind of an interesting one. It's PBS Terra, I think, is the thing, and it's talks about how the tornado alley is shifting kind of to the east, and where things have kind of changed is in Kansas, Oklahoma, everything. You see these big, giant, very slow moving tornadoes, and people are plenty of time to react, and it doesn't go through. Plus, it's also very open there. That has shifted. So basically, the science is cold air from Canada, warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, with hot, dry air coming in from the Southwest, and all that kind of combines right there in what creates all of this turbulence. And the scientists that they were talking about this basically said, think about a pot of water on the stove boiling with a lid on top of it, and that's what you get with all these three types of air coming together, and then eventually the lid comes off, and then everything kind of escapes up, and it creates this cycle that then generates all these storms. I guess that the large majority of tornadoes that happen in the world happen right here in the United States, because we're the only land continent that has no natural border between going east and west, so to divide the north and south, so the cold of the Arctic air and the warm of the tropic air, and all coming together. So it was an interesting thing. Some of it there's the science in there and everything, but then some of it is a human interest story too. But what has changed also with these tornadoes is that certain conditions, they had a very predictable season for tornadoes, and also certain times of day that it would only happen. These tornadoes that are kind of shifting east with the desert air getting hotter, and it's kind of pushing it east into Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, those areas, and then up further north, not as much, but further north here in Indiana, Missouri, and everything is in our terrain is different, right? So we don't have this big open thing. We've got a lot of hilly terrain and everything, which is causing these tornadoes to, one, happen year round, two, not during a certain time of day, but usually at any time of the day. So it is kind of shifting. So there's a lot of scientific data that supports it, and it is kind of interesting. So I'm going to try to play some bits and pieces of this video. I don't know how it's going to come through, because I'm having to pull it. So this spot right here looks to, I'm going to kill the audio, looks to be a power run anyways, but oh yeah, there's the things. Let me know if this is choppy, and we'll go. Now this tornado was 15. Here we go. Now you're starting to see it. 15 miles long. And covered 2 counties. So there is some residential stuff in here, but most of this, like I said, is forested, and you can see going all the way up through here. The damage, and once again, fortunately, this is a mostly wooded area, forest and such. So the damage was trees primarily. So now we're getting up to the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. This is I-69 in about the middle of the screen there. It is divided at that point. The roadway is divided, and it went across. I am surprised that there was no damage or loss of life on the interstate there. That is, you'd be blind at that time of night. This is roughly 10 p.m. that this came through. So we're coming up on some private property just on the other side of, and the road behind me, right in the parking lot where I'm, is Old State 37. So we haven't crossed over Old State 37, but right here on the screen, right, that body of water is where I am at. And I don't know if you can see the road in there, but that is Old State 37 that's behind me. And so I am that close to the damage. This road coming up right through the middle, coming up from the bottom, and the thing that's here in the center is the front entrance to the Morgan-Monroe State Forest, and that is closed right now. Now this is down here at the bottom. There is a split. Forest Road, which is the main road that goes through the forestry here and goes back to the office, is keeps continuing to go right. The one that kind of veers off to the left and goes around is also surrounded on both sides by the forestry, but it does open up into some private property down below. And this road is completely closed, and there's probably 100 yards worth of trees laying across it. I know they were working on that. Once again, fortunately, open areas, a few homes, barns, stuff like that. And here it goes across the forestry. And you can see it zigzagging and kind of moving around because of the underlying terrain in there. But it's it just absolutely massive. And way up in here is this tower. I don't know if you guys can see it in the screen yet. That tower is the communications tower that is right by Scout Ridge Nature Preserve. And as you can see here, this just kind of stopped right there. This is where the campgrounds are at. So the public camping is there. On this side of it is the Scout Ridge Nature Preserve and Scout Ridge, which is where all the youth camping is, group camping, stuff like that. Then there's family camping, regular camping at Mason Ridge. Then there's another one that's on the other side here, which is kind of like an overflow type camping if both those other areas are full. And then there's a bunch of dispersed backpack type camping that's all throughout on some of the loops. It's almost as if the storm just kind of lifted up, and there's the fire tower too. And then it hopped over everything and then came back down, touched back down, and then just kind of dispersed. So and then stopped. So that was a kind of a just a walkthrough in there. Now I went up. I filmed some footage and everything. So let me share that real quick. So this is the actual entrance here to the forestry. One side of the road is covered, blocked off, and then the other one is open. But they've got a sign up. I did see in here somebody said that when they looked it up that the yeah. It says temporary closed. So what has happened? There's really no way to get through. The roads that are in the forestry are county roads that cut through, and so people do drive through there. They've got all of them blocked off and essentially not allowing road traffic in, which then leads back to all the campgrounds and all of the trailheads and stuff like that. Those are closed. Where I'm at here is open. People can come down and use the lake. They can walk the trails. They're just blocking the roads off or closing the roads because there's really no way that you can go from point A to point B anywhere in the forestry without crossing over a road that's shut down or in danger. So that's what that is about. But it just walking through, I got some other footage. I'm putting a video together. I parked here at the thing and walked up to the entrance and then walked back. There's a lot of destruction, damage just along the roadway getting up to the entrance. And then as far south of the entrance, that damage is north. It's pretty wide. I would say it's 400 yards worth of damage in the from one side of the track to the other. But just to look at these trees here, this one just snapped in half like nothing, and that's a good sized tree. Now the one thing that is interesting, there's really no old growth here. All of this area was clear cutted 100 years ago, and they tried farming it and it didn't work out. So it eventually got purchased back by the state, defaulted back to the state one way or another, and they turned it into the forest. And it's also, this is a living laboratory for Purdue University for farming and not farming, forest management and stuff like that. So they do various experiments in tracts of land to see how it does. And then the hardwoods that they do produce here, they do a controlled selling of it, harvesting, and use those funds to support the activities here, which is which is nice. But yeah, just massive in the damage. And I well, here's another one. This tree just split like a twig, and unbelievable. So this is just limited, but I mean, this is the kind of stuff that looking down this road, this is Forest Road going in. This is where that road's Hackers Creek Road splits off to the left to go down into the where the private property is. But that's Forest Road weaves back and forth, or the storm track went over Forest Road several times, and once again, there's really no way to make it safe until they can just go all the way through and clean everything up. There's some drone footage up from the local power company, and I think it was taken over Hackers Creek Road, which was that one that had that large swath of thing where there's power lines, there's cleanup efforts and everything going on. So it was just real. It's powerful, right? I don't know in too many words how to describe it other than it's just powerful. So my son and wife looking at a tree where it just got ripped to pieces, and how, well, it gave you a cross section of the inside of the tree, which was kind of cool. So there you can see here that there is obviously they have done some cutting to get stuff up. Same thing with Old 37, the road behind me, where they would just have to cut trees and use an excavator with like a thumb, I think is what they had to kind of just pick those things and get them up off the road. So yeah, big stuff. But so that's that in a nutshell. Let's go back to the comments here. Oh, and by the way, I did forget to mention Happy Father's Day, everybody. I hope everybody has a good day today, and plans with the family. I need to. Sorry. This is a live podcast every Sunday. I find myself in front of the radio with coffee on Sunday morning. Well, that's good. I want everybody to have fun. Max velocity saves me scanner money when added to the local areas. Yeah, I tell you, one of the things that I'm working on a video concept in my head right now. You're starting to see things like Skywarn. We don't have much of a Skywarn presence here in my area. There was a net that was up, and I was able to listen in, and there was people there that could take check-ins, could if there was something that was down, if you were pinned, if you needed assistance, there was somebody there that, if you could reach them, was there. There wasn't anybody checking in from the field. There wasn't anybody providing real-time updates, of eyeball confirmation of stuff. And so I don't know if we need to make a push to get that back in the uh, into the conversation to do that as we move forward with things like Tornado Alley shifting, the fact that the tornadoes are shifting from, certain times of the year and generally in a certain portion of the day to year round now and whenever. Um, those are I think some of the things we look at. One of the other things that is kind of um, starting to frustrate me, and more so because I've just dumped a chunk of money in the scanner money, is the fact that places are encrypting their traffic. And I think that in a situation like this is one of those conversations that needs to be had. Is the police and fire traffic a public service? Just having that information. I get, and there's always the it's officer safety shit that you hear, and I hear that as an excuse. To be quite honest, I agree. Tactical channels, things that are going on right at that moment, that stuff could be on an encrypted channel. General dispatch traffic, absolutely not. I think that needs to be kept public, and they use the officer safety thing as a guise to basically not be scrutinized by the public is what it boils down to. And yes, there's FOIA laws. Yes, you can do that. But if you don't know what happened, you don't have a record of it, it's kind of hard to FOIA it and know what you're looking for, kind of thing. So, but it definitely does that. The other side of it, I know I'm going to stir up a hornet's nest when I do this anyways, is the other side of it is there's public personal information, yada yada yada. Most of that stuff is done through a terminal in their vehicle, and it goes over an encrypted data channel. So I don't necessarily argue that. And 45 Auto says it right. Safety is always an excuse for tyranny. And yeah, it is. And you're seeing that through all kinds of things. Flock camera is another good example if you look at the things, and all the potential bad stuff that comes from that, all in the name of safety. So, and there's a whole thing about flock cameras in the communities and stuff like that. We used to have a dedicated Skywarn net run by NWS in League City, Texas. They have had Kenwood 2-meter base, and they would run a net on one in the big repeaters downtown. In some areas, I mean, they still have them, and like I said, we have a dedicated Skywarn repeater that, or it's a repeater that they can use and take control of for Skywarn. And there is still an interface with the National Weather Service, and some of it is they have as technology has gotten better, there's an argument. People have shifted, obviously, you pick up your cell phone or some other means of communication. As more options are available, they've kind of shifted, and I understand that. Sometimes the participation has waned, And so they look for other things. As you think about the amateur radio community, at 55 years of age, I'm a young kid in this uh, um, the age category. I look at my demographics in my YouTube channel, and it's like 90% 55 and up, and that's okay, and it is what it is. But we do need to find some young blood and get them in there. Just Joe says you're exactly right, and it's taxpayers' money, so most general dispatch should not be encrypted. I believe so. The other thing, they love to use it, and Indiana, like a lot of states, has this. You can have a scanner on your property, do whatever you want with it on your property, but you can't take it off your property and use it unless you meet some criteria, like you're a law enforcement officer, or you're a firefighter, or yes, an amateur radio operator, or a member of the news. And if you aren't one of those, then you got to get a little special mommy may I slip. I don't know. And a lot of it comes back to, well, maybe they could use this in the commission of a crime. I don't know if there's any statistical data that supports that. I doubt it. The number of people that are using unencrypted traffic and scanners to commit crimes, I don't know. Dave said they've got tornadoes warnings going on just north of us right there in Missouri right now. Dave, stay safe. The max velocity this morning when I was getting ready to come over here had just put up a video. I guess there's another convergence of hot, cold, and moist coming together. So another round of conditions for Missouri. He specifically cited Missouri and Indianapolis. So the sheriff here signed with 0 vote under its kidnapped children and lost pets, guys. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's a lot of information, and David also says his county just signed for 50 flock cameras to keep me safe. If it was truly just doing license plate reading, absolutely. And if it was just for tracking whatever, but I just saw there's a privacy organization that is I think it's Washington State, and Washington State just had a landmark case with flock cameras and the ability for the public to FOIA the information, and basically they were trying to play the game, and this is the dance they love to do. Flock is a private company, so therefore that data is really not open for FOIA. But because it's at the behest of a government agency, so the state of, I believe, Washington just had a Supreme Court case that shut that down and said, no, that data is public data and needs to be made available under normal, conditions in the state's law for FOIA requests and everything. The other thing, I said, I don't know if it was Washington or another state, was the they were saying basically that if you're going to use this data, it had to be contained to a local agency. It had to, the words investigation, if it was in there, had to have a warrant attached to it, not just some loosey-goosey thing. I mean, there was some serious protections that they were looking at putting in, and I think that's the kind of stuff that we need to do, across the country to protect us. The data gathering has gotten exponentially ridiculous just because they can, and yes, under the guise of safety. So Alan Rice says scanner apps are an excellent way to stay informed if you don't feel like sinking $600 into a scanner or carry a scanner around. That is true. I mean, in lieu of not having one, unfortunate thing is you have to have one in an area to be able to capture that data. But it then also falls back to Dave was asking how there was a family that just came up the hill here with some fishing poles, wanted to know how they do. And Bill Carter's asking, how's the Mason Ridge campground doing? I don't know. It looked from the if you go back on the stream a little bit, Bill, I showed some aerial footage, and it looked kind of like as the tornado lifted up and went over Mason Ridge and the Scout Ridge, and kind of left most of that intact without any damage, and then over. But the roads going in and out, and the roads getting into the camp office were shut down. And I know there was a retreat, a teacher's retreat going on back there. We had a teacher that was back there, and they were safe, but they were trapped in the area, not able to get out for, I think, about a day. So, all right. Well, I did promise to do some radio today, although we are coming up on 9:50, so we may just skip it, and go, because but yeah. So anybody got any questions? Anything we can talk about that? I did, something I do want to say. I went back and I watched the footage of Ryan Hall and Max Velocity, and they're the two of the biggest and I think well organized groups that do this. Max seems like he's a one-man show with a couple things, where Ryan has a big team of people that help put that production together. But it's another example of this is the new media. There's the old established way of things, and then there's the new. And I think those guys, exemplify that in that realm, right? Just that the days of having to wait for your local TV weather station to go online and come up, and then yes, they've got their radars, but that was generally just their radar that you got access to, or that they had access to. With the weather apps, the digital meteorologists, the ways that they can pull in data now from different radars at the same time, and converge that information and bring it together is phenomenal and everything. So I really think that um, stuff like that's valuable. And in this particular case, with this tornado, when it hit the ground and started in um, Owen County, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not blaming anybody. Um, there is the tornado was on the ground, and the debris signature was visible in the radar returns before a tornado warning was ever issued, or before the sirens went off. Um, and I'm glad that they saw it. I saw in Ryan Hall's thing there. Uh, he's got a couple meteorologists on the backside that um, help him out and watch stuff as he's on screen, and they were pointing out that this thing fired up, and within a very quick period of time, then the alert was announced. Uh, Now, something I saw them local criticism here in the area was that people didn't hear the tornado sirens, and I think that some stuff has changed in just a general. And I'm going to dive more into this to get a better understanding. But my understanding is that with the ability to track the storms now, before if you guys are my age or above, we grew up in the 70s, and they would light up sirens for the entire county just on the thought that something may or may not come that way, that the potential was there, or somebody spotted something, and they would do a very wide net of things, where now they can control or track the storm and do a much more targeted or pinpointed um, track or following the storm. And so now they don't throw out as wide a net. And I think that's what maybe some of the people in town were complaining about, because this went way south of town and wasn't in a line that was going to curve or take it up north. So I'm gonna dive into that a little bit more, and probably include that in this part of this bigger video that I'm putting out about the shift in weather, the tornadoes, the sky warn, how amateur radio can still play a very valuable uh, part in that. Happy Father's Day, Vaughn. Just zipping back through the comments here. I am seeing some stuff. John's saying that church is tomorrow night in the Nugget slot. I didn't know they were going to not be on today. Not sure what was going on. I just saw first of it this morning in a message. So we will see how that goes. John saying you might as well fire up the radio. You know what? Let's do it. Oh, I had it fired up, didn't realize it. Let's get some All right. So we will start a POTA activation. At the Morgan-Monroe. And get you out there to watch that slow moving ATOS antenna going up. Speaking of ATOS antennas, Dave just started doing a series on how to temporarily mount your ATOS antenna for use on your vehicle, not a permanent install. And he's working through that. So make sure you check out his channel if you've got an ATOS and are interested in that. So yeah, let's find it. Find the right mic. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo 8 Bravo Alpha Charlie.
Kilo 8 Bravo Alpha Charlie Allen, got you in the log, my friend, 59 plus.
I got the 957 into southeastern Michigan this morning, Tim. Sounded really good, man. Glad you survived the storm the other night.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, buddy, have a good happy Father's Day, and we will talk to you later in 73.
70.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Golf Alpha Echo.
Kilo Echo 6, Great American Ego. Dave, good morning, 5'9".
Hey, good morning, Tim. I've got you about a 5'6" out here in Missouri. 23 years. I actually first called you on 20 watts. I had it set for FT, forgot to change.
Oh, well, sounds good. Got you in the log, my friend.
All right, 73, my friend. Thanks for being out there activating that. Put it on.
All right, thank you. Have a happy Father's Day and POTA on, my friend. Stay safe. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey, got you in the log, very faint, got a 4-5, 45. All right, 73, my friend. Have a happy Father's Day. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Kilo Charlie 8, Kilo Charlie Mike. Good morning, Benjamin, 5-1.
I got you at 5 here in West Virginia.
Thank you for the 5-5 from West Virginia, my friend. Have a great day today in 73.
You have a good day yourself. Thanks for the contact.
All righty, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Charlie 3, Whiskey Charlie Yankee.
Kilo Charlie 3, Whiskey Charlie Yankee. Walter, good morning, 5-5.
Good morning. You're about a 5-7 coming into Papa Alpha.
Copy the 5-7 into Pennsylvania, my friend. Thank you for the contact today in 73.
7-3.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, CQ Parks on the air. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Foxtrot 8, Charlie Yankee Lima.
Kilo Fox 8, Charlie Yankee Lima. Rosanna, good morning, 5-5. Kilo Foxtrot 8, Charlie Yankee Lima. Rosanna, 5-5. All right, nothing heard. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
Kilo Quebec 4 with the Yankee.
The Kilo Quebec 4 station.
Kilo Quebec 4 with the Alpha Yankee.
Kilo Quebec 4, Whiskey Alpha Yankee. Joe, got you in the log, 5-9.
Roger, you're 5-5 into North Alabama.
Copy the 5-5 into Alabama this morning, my friend. Thank you for the contact in 73.
73.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, CQ POTA. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot going QSY to 20 meters. All right, let's just roll over to 20. All right, this guy is on digital. Let's get you back to sideband. Pretty sure 236 is in the general. Yep. Good deal. Is the frequency in use? November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. is the frequency in use. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Whiskey 4, Oscar Golf Whiskey. Good morning. Got you in the log for a new band there, George.
Roger, Tim. I can hear you a little better here on 20, man. You're doing fine. Happy Father's Day to you and all the fathers out there within my voice. Have a great one, man. And 73, brother. Have a great activation.
All right. Thank you. Happy Father's Day, my friend. We will chat with you later. 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, yours, Ed. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Starting to say stabbing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. Just got my hand alert notice, so I'm sure we'll get some people now. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air from US 4215, the Morgan-Monroe State Forest. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Uniform Tango Yankee.
The Uniform Tango Yankee station. The Uniform Tango Yankee station. Was there a Uniform Tango Yankee station? All right, nothing heard. QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Alpha 8, Juliet, India, Lima.
Kilo Alpha 8, Juliet, India, Lima. Juliet. Tom, good morning. Happy Father's Day. You are 5555.
Hi, thank you, Tim. Good morning. Great to hear you today. Got some crazy noise on this end, but got you 5-5, Roger.
I copied 5-5, my friend. You did bounce up there. I'm going to give you a 5-9 for the log. Sounds good. Hey, thank you once again for the contact and happy Father's Day. And 73, my friend.
Hope to hear you next weekend. KAHJRO.
All right. See you later, Tom. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo Quebec 4, Yankee November. Kilo Quebec 4, Yankee November. Joe in Georgia, over.
Kilo Quebec 4, Yankee. Kilo Quebec 4, Yankee November. Joe, good morning. Got you in the log about a 5-5-55, my friend.
I got you at 3-3 in Georgia. A lot of QRM, over.
I copied 3-3 in Georgia, my friend. Thank you for the contact this morning at 73. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Whiskey Tango 1 Whiskey.
Whiskey Tango 1 Whiskey. Jim, good morning. 5-7-57. Somebody said that the ham church wasn't on today.
I have a lot of background noise. I'm going to give you like a 4-5, 10, 4-5. The show's moving. We'll be there Monday night at 7. 73, man. I was watching you on YouTube, so I cut out the sound on that so I can hit you up. Have a good one, brother. 73.
All right, sounds good. And thank you for the contact, and we'll look forward to seeing the new show on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. or 7 or 8, whatever it is. But yeah, check your local listings. Have a great day. 73, my friend. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ.
Whiskey 4, Zulu Delta Papa, Park the Party night.
Whiskey 4, Zulu Delta Papa. You are about a 5-1-51 into my park. US 4215 QSL.
Yeah, QSL is a 5-1 into 4215. You're 5-5-55 at US 2198 QSL.
I copied 5-5 into Uncle Sam 2198, my friend. Hey, William, thank you for the contact. Have a great activation today in 73.
All right, 7-3. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. I got a faint Whiskey 7 station. Whiskey 7, Yankee Bravo, Yankee QSL. Was it Whiskey 7, Yankee Bravo, Yankee? All right, I've lost you in the noise there. Go ahead and try again in a few minutes. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ Parks on the air, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by.
Kilo November 6, Delta Uniform Yankee.
Kilo November 6, Delta Uniform Yankee. Robert, good morning, 5-9. Kilo November 6, Delta Uniform Yankee. Robert, 5-9. Is there a Kilo November 6, Delta Uniform Yankee? All right, nothing heard. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. Whiskey 7, Yankee Bravo, Yankee. Brian, got you in the log there, buddy. 4-5-45. All right, thank you for the contact, my friend. Have a great day today in 73. All right, thank you. November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, QRZ. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. CQ POTA, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, calling CQ Parks on the air and standing by. All right, November Whiskey 9 Foxtrot, going QRT. All righty. Make sure I get this in here. I always forget to do it. And then I get ham alert like 20 minutes after I get home that I'm on the air. All right. So, quick run and obviously a little different today. Let's see if I can't blow this thing up. And begin. So this is what the distribution looks like, and a combination of 40 meters, 40 meter contacts in the blue, 20 meter contacts in the red. So cool. Just made enough to get the park activated for the day. So I gotta watch my battery on my laptop here. So I've been going. I'm not plugged into anything, so it's just running off the battery itself, and it running 2 cameras and 2 displays. It drains it fairly quickly. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. As you heard, they're moving Ham Church to Wednesday evenings. So I'm not sure what the story is behind that yet, but we'll find out. Stay tuned, and we'll get out of here. Everybody have a great and happy Father's Day. Spend time with your kids and family, and get outdoors and enjoy it. If you're in an area that could potentially have severe weather, make sure you prepare today. Make sure the batteries are charged up on your HTs, that your phone battery's good, and if you've got a scanner, get that dialed in, and make sure you got resources like Ryan Hall and Max Velocity and your local weather too. So we'll get out of here. Everybody have a great day. We will talk to you later. 73.